right, welcome to Sales Boss. This is a brand new podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Gaspar. A brand new show, whichever you want to call it. You watch it on different platforms, obviously. I'm going to get right into it. This is something brand new that we started, and the purpose of the podcast is to help people in sales and business and entrepreneurship. Whether you own the business, whether you work in the business, this is a podcast that you can learn and grow from. Even if you're not doing actual sales, if you support staff, if you're any part of the business, sales, I hate to say is the main part of every business, but what it is, nothing happens until the sale's made. You don't make money until somebody sells something. And that's the purpose of this podcast, is to be able to give you content, to be able to give you the direction, the insights of what I've had throughout many years of sales, and then also the guests that we'll have on. So that's going to be something that will come up. We'll have different guests on the podcast, on the show, that's going to give you insight into what they did to build their business or working for a business. And sometimes, like I said, even there's going to be businesses that are, or people in businesses that are not even in a direct sales situation that have great input. Just for example, it may be a spouse of someone that's in sales, a spouse of an entrepreneur, something like that, where you can get a different angle, a different perspective to be able to create just an impact in your life. So that's the purpose of the podcast. The purpose of this is an introductory episode that I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of background of who I am, why is this relevant, why you should be listening to me, and what I can do to help. First off, why the name Sales Boss? You know, where's that come from? God, you know, I've been an entrepreneur or business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, for many years, right at 20 years. So needless to say, I've learned a lot through failure. I've had some success, but I've had much more failure than success. So if I can create and navigate those things for you guys, and show you the mistakes that I made to where you could avoid them and learn from my mistakes, that's what it is. So through many of my mistakes, long story short, I've been in construction, had a bunch of success, a bunch of mistakes, and we ended up, I say we a lot because I consider my wife my number one business partner. But I ended up working for a company selling life insurance out of state. I'm in Louisiana, but we was working out of state, and lo and behold, they could not pronounce my last name. I'm a Cajun. So I pronounced my last name as Gaspar, as you heard me in the beginning of the show. And it's spelled, if you would spell it, it's Gaspard. And it's a hard pronunciation because I pronounce it like a Cajun. And everybody was trying to say it. They would call me Gaspar. They just couldn't get it. So during a national webinar one day, I'm texting the people that are on the webinar in front of the camera, I guess Ebonics way of how to pronounce my name, and I spelled it Gaspar. So they got it on camera, national webinar, and they're trying to pronounce it. So they just start saying this Gaspar, God, you know. And all of a sudden, one of the guys goes, the Godfather, in reference to The Godfather, the gangster show, right? And the mafia guy. And you know, that shows had an impact on me and an impact on 90% of the people in my generation. So what happened, that nickname stuck, and I became known in that organization and outside that organization as the Godfather. And one of the things that came out of it, my wife and I were on vacation, and I do sales training, obviously. It's the purpose of this, or that's where this podcast stemmed from. And we were trying to figure out the name of the course and the training program that we were going to call it. And my wife, of all people, sitting down on a balcony, and she was like, you know what you should call that program? And she said, Sales Boss. And that kind of came from, I believe that kind of stemmed from, I got 3 daughters, and we watched all the cooking shows and all that stuff on Food Network, and they had a network called Cake Boss, and it was this guy named Buddy, and he'd do the cakes, and they had these wars, and he was kind of like, he's from like New Jersey, so it's kind of like the mafia kind of fella, and I think those two things, from the Godfather to the Cake Boss, and you mesh those things together. My wife came up with the name Sales Boss, and I think that's where it comes from, and I think it's a pretty badass name because, well, I'm not going to get into politics, but I'm a pretty masculine man, so that's where this come from. That's where the name started from. So you got to thank my wife Brandy for that, and you'll start to see that if you start to look for it. You want to be a part of it, just send me a DM, let me know. What you could expect from this show is, like I said, we want to pour in to you guys to where you could just be better at sales. You could increase the value of what you do and get paid more for what you do. Not only just increase the number of sales you make, but increase the value of the sale you make. Increase the value of what you're doing to your family, what you're providing for your family and to yourself. Because I know it sounds cliche, but there's something to be said about nothing happens until a sale's made, and that's just a fact, because you have to sell yourself first. You have to be bought in on what you're doing first. You can't just come out here and be like, oh, I'm going to go sell this product if you don't believe in that product. Because people, just to be honest, people could care less about the product more than they care about you. So they're going to buy you. So if you believe in that product and you believe of what you're doing is going to make a difference and really impact that person's life, that person's going to see it and believe it in you. So that's the first thing. You have to understand what you are doing, the impact you're making, and you have to be sold on yourself first. And everything else in life stems from that. Everything. One of the things we're going to talk about on this show is the way I live my life, and there's a core 4 area of that I live by. And one is faith. The other one is my family, and that's also all relationships that I have, right? And then fitness. Fitness is, you can't do anything without, if you're sick in a hospital bed, there's not much you can do. And then freedom. And what I call freedom, and that's the part where we usually think of finance and we think of money, but it's not for the sake of finance or to have a stack of finances or a stack of money. You don't have money to have money. You have money for what the money can do for you. And ultimately, I believe that's called freedom. Because when you can do what you want, anytime you want it, regardless of who's around, who's not around, where you want to go, that's true freedom to me. So that's where that production, that finance, that money, the stack, that's where the bag comes from. When you're going to hear me talk about the bag, when you hear me talk about the candy, I'm talking about freedom. I'm not talking about just going get it just to have the money to flex on that. I'm talking about the freedom. I'd rather be rich, not look rich, than a lot of people, like the majority of people out there. You know as well as I do, they look rich, but they aren't rich. So with that being said, you're going to see different people come on this show, because what we want to do is we want to look in different areas. Like I said, I was in construction for many years, still am, and then I also have a finance and life insurance company that we specialize in different niches in different areas, and obviously some other businesses, but those are 2 of my main companies that I do. Also the sales training company, obviously that goes right along with what we're doing here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in different people to talk to you guys. People from the core four, people from the faith, and I'm not talking about priests or anything like that, and preachers and all that. We're talking about that value of faith. That faith faith is actually an action word. It's not a religion. So when you hear me talk about that, I believe in Jesus. That doesn't have as much to do when I'm talking about faith as I'm talking about action. So we will talk about it, but it's the action part of it, right? So we're gonna have people coming in here and talking about action, like we step out in faith, right? That's in the Bible, but you hear people walk in faith. What does that mean, walk in faith? Just an example. It's walking like you're expecting something to be there when you get there, but you don't know if it's there, right? It's like we have faith every day. We get in our cars and we go drive down the road. We leave work and we call the wife and say, hey, I'm on my way home. I'll see you in 30 minutes. We hang up the phone, fully expecting to drive up at home. Our wife is 100% expecting us to get home in 30 minutes, right? We get stuck in traffic, maybe a little bit more. We don't answer the phone and be like, hey, we'll see you in 30 minutes if I don't die on the way home. If I die on the way home, then I'm not going to make it home. We don't say shit like that. We have 100% faith in that. But then there's some things that we struggle so much in where we hope instead of having faith. And that's a big difference. So we're going to have, me and different people are going to come. We're going to talk about that, where you get different aspects of it in different fields, right? So you might have, again, a fitness person come and talk about faith and fitness, and we're going to most likely cover all of core 4 with every guest that we have on here. But you have different people in the industry, because what I want to do is add value to your life. I want to add value. We have too many people walking around here being mediocre, and I want to be excellent in my life, and I want to show you that so you can be excellent in your life. And look, I strive for excellent, not being excellent. I'll make more mistakes than anybody else, I'm sure. But we'll have different people from different industries coming in here to talk to you guys, because I'm most likely not in most of y'all industries, and y'all mostly not in mine. So want to get those different perspectives, but the value, the topics that we talk about is literally just unplugging it from this industry and plugging it in another industry. And last, what I want to say is the number one thing that you can do, there's two things that you can do. There's two things that you can do that would absolutely, I would be so grateful for. One is live to a higher standard in life. Hold yourself to those standards. Lead your family. Take the nuggets that we're going to be giving you and elevate, level up. And you'll hear me talk about level up, and I'll show you details of how to do that through this show. But that's the number one thing that you can do, is actually live it, be it. You want to have these certain things or live this certain kind of life. You need to be it. So be the person that does that. Number 2 is share this show, because that's the only way that we can grow. We're not running ads on here. We're not I don't want to be bound to me saying things on this show by someone giving me money for it. So this is not going to be a show that you're going to see ads on or anything like that. It's going to be me adding value to you. So the only way that we could grow this show is for you guys to share it. So that would be the second thing, and probably as most important as the first, is to get more people to see it. So one, live it, be it, right? Because you are a leader. You're an example for somebody else. Everyone's going to see you changing and leveling up, and what's going to happen is they're going to change and level up and be like, man, what's going on with Jeff? What's going on with Sally over there? And man, I want to be like them. Man, they changed. Man, look what happened. And they're going to start to see that, and it's contagious. So haters are going to hate, and then they're going to change, and then they're going to be like you, and then they're going to be trying to ask you for all the information of how you got the way you are. Number 2 is if you share it, the people that are listening to it just like you, more eyes get to do it, and so if more eyes see this show, more ears listen to this message, what'll happen is there'll be more people just like you leveling up, growing, expanding, making a difference for their family and the people around them. And if it's contagious, like I said it is, which it is, each share changes the world just a little bit, and that's what we're after. And I think we could all agree that we need to do all we could do to make this world a better place. And that's the purpose of this show. So again, I'll ask, please share this show, please live it, be it. And that's it for this first welcome episode of Sales Boss with Jacob Gospa.